Hi everyone. In this lab, lab number 2, we are going to cover the exercise, how to provide a zero standing privileges to your AWS console. Again, we are going to follow this guide, and this guide covers step by step. So as a first step, we are going to the CyberArk identity, and we are going to go to a service name, Cloud Entitlement Manager, and then we are going to go and add a new AWS organization. So we are going to go to the platform management. So we are going to go add new AWS organization. So on the AWS side, so we have to gather some of the details. The first detail is your account ID. This is your management account number. So I'm going to copy and paste here. For your root ID, you have to go to your AWS organizations. So this is what my root ID is. I'm going to copy my root ID, going to paste it here. Organization name. So I'm going to name it as a Raj organization. So here, so we are using AWS IAM Identity Center. I'm going to click on this one and let's see on which region I have enabled AWS IAM Identity Center. So I'm going to click on IAM Identity Center. So currently we are on US East 2 region. So AWS IAM Identity Center is enabled under US East 2. In your case, it might be US East 1. So you have to take a note. So I'm going to say US East 2. So here where the logs are stored in my management account. So we have to get that trail log location. So if you follow the documentation as well, so you will be able to see some of the details, how to extract your root ID, your management account, and your cloud logs here. So here, so what we are gonna do, I'm gonna go to my cloud trail. I'm going to click on the trails. So this is what my trail log location is. I'm gonna click here. So we have to go to the organization ID. Under the organization ID, you can see all the 3 different accounts what we created in our prerequisite lab. So all these accounts are present here. So you have to copy this S3 URI and we are gonna paste it here. So the region is, we have to look at where exactly the bucket got created. I'm gonna click on buckets. So here my bucket got created in US East 2. You have to make sure you should be configuring the exact region where exactly your bucket got created. Otherwise, you will encounter some issues. So I'm going to click on US East 2. As the next step, I'm going to click on a cloud formation stack. So here the pop-up is blocked. I'm simply going to allow it. I'm going to click it one more time. So it's opening another tab. So here it is mentioning all the different details. And then I'm simply going to acknowledge and then create a stack. Stack creation takes around 4 to 5 minutes. We will come back after this specific step. So it took almost 5 minutes for our entire stack deployment to go through. So this was our parent stack. Under this parent stack, 2 different stacks also got deployed. One is for SCA, other one is for CM. So on the AWS side, everything looks to have been completed. So what we are going to do, we are going to click on Start Discovery. And then I'm going to click on a Connect button. So the organization looks to be connected successfully. Let's go back to our documentation. So here, everything looks to have been completed successfully. As a next step, we are going to set up a trust between CyberArk Identity and AWS IAM Identity Center. So let's get started. So what we are going to do, so I'm going to go to my Identity Administration tab. And as a first step, we are going to configure a role. So I'm going to say add role. So we have to define the role like AWS _ SC _ management account number. I'm going to go and grab my management account ID. So then I'm going to click on save. So that's pretty much from a role creation what we have to do. As a next step, we have to deploy a web app. So I'm going to say AWS IAM Identity Center. So we are going to deploy this. Here we have to define a couple of parameters. The first one is you have to mention your management account number again. I'm going to name this web app as Raj AWS IAM Identity Center because we are using this tenant across multiple students. So then I'm going to click on save. If we go to our guide, so yeah, we have completed this step. And then we have to enable secure cloud access as well. I'm going to click on save. So on AWS side, we have to go to the AWS IAM Identity Center. And then we have to click on the setting, and then we have to change the identity source to IDP. So here, let's go to AWS IAM Identity Center. So here we are gonna go to settings, gonna change the identity source to external IDP. I'm gonna click on next. So then I'm gonna download the metadata file for SP, and if I click here, so we have performed this step, and then we have to go to the CyberArk identity. We have to download the IDP, metadata, and signing certificate. So I'm gonna go to trust. So gonna download this metadata file and going to download the certificate as well. So this is all done. So then we have to go and upload on both AWS side and the CyberArk side. So here what I did, I simply click on a choose file. We uploaded our Raj AWS IAM Identity Center metadata, and I uploaded my certificate. I'm gonna click on next. Then I'm gonna say I wanna accept it. So it's all done. I'm gonna go to the identity administration page. So where whatever SP metadata we downloaded from AWS IAM Identity Center, I uploaded it here as well. So we are gonna click on save button. So this is all done. So now as a next step, we are going to configure the provisioning as well. So we will be provisioning the users and the group from CyberArk identity. So what we are going to do, we are going to click on settings. So then we're gonna change, we're gonna click on provisioning. Let me go back and look at the documentation again. So we have to change it. So we will be configuring the SCIM provisioning. For the SCIM provisioning, what we are going to do, we are gonna click here, change identity sources done. So here we have to click on the enable automatic provisioning. So this is what my SCIM endpoint is. I'm gonna copy the SCIM endpoint. I'm gonna go to CyberArk. So we are gonna paste the SCIM URL and we are going to copy the token as well. So we have copied the token and then we are gonna click on verify. So once we click on verify, so we can see the verification has been done successfully. And then once the verification is done, you will be able to see all the subsequent option on the sync option and the user deprovisioning option. I'm gonna go to my documentation. So we are done with all these steps. So for this one, we will be selecting some of these options. So what we are going to do, we are going to create another role called, I'm just naming it using my initials. So you can name it accordingly as well. And on the AWS side also. So we can close this one. It's all done. So I'm gonna click on roles. We are going to add a new role. I'm gonna say Raj AWS. Gonna click on save. And then I will be adding myself as a member. So I'm gonna add. So once it is done, so then we have to assign a web app to this particular role. So I'm gonna assign AWS IAM Identity Center. Gonna click on save. So here, once we have assigned, so here you can see, so we have to assign the grant and the view permission for the user. So I'm gonna go to the web app, gonna go to the AWS IAM Identity Center, and then we have to go to the permissions. Under the permission, user will be able to view and grant the web app. So this one is done. So on the provisioning side, we have to do a role mapping. So I'm gonna go to the provisioning again. So I'm gonna add my role, the role what we just created. And I'm gonna say the destination group as AWS administrator. You can name it whatever you want. So it's done. And then we are gonna click on save. So just to expedite the provisioning, so what we are going to do, we are gonna go to the settings, users, the outbound provisioning. I'm going to select my app. I'm going to click on Start Sync. It takes a couple of seconds to start synchronizing the users, and it will create one of the groups as well. So here we follow the guide. So in a couple of seconds or minutes, so we should be able to see user has been provisioned successfully on the AWS side. So here you can see user has been provisioned successfully as well as one of the groups. So this is what we were supposed to do until the exercise number 2. So now we are going to go to the exercise number 3. So that's where we will be creating a policies. So here, so what we are going to do, we are going to click on the secure cloud access. Let me refresh. So we are going to configure a policy. So I'm going to configure a policy for IAM Identity Center. I'm going to say Raj, test policy, you can name it. Ideally, you should be using your name so that you know that this policy belongs to you. So here, we're going to select an account to see the associated permission set. Here you can see scanning is not done. So to kickstart the scanning, what I'll do, I'll click on the scan button. It takes around 5 to 10 minutes to scan your entire AWS organization. So I'm going to pause this video and we will come back in a couple of minutes. So for me, it took around 5 minutes, but one of the things I noticed, what you have to do, you have to click on cancel and refresh your browser. So here, so I'm going to click on AWS IAM Identity Center again. I'm going to say Raj, test policy. Again, you can define the policy time frame. So I'm going to click select account, and then we are going to provide the permissions. So here, as per the test guide, so we are supposed to select a prod account and test account. So I'm going to select my prod account for the security audit. For test account, I'm going to select administrator access. Again, these are the permissions that we are going to use as per the lab. So you can pick and choose whatever you want. And I'm going to click on next. I'm going to click on add identity here. I'm going to add myself. So we are going to click on add policy. Here you can define the session length, how long this session is going to be valid for. After that time frame, user will go back to the 0 standing permission. We are going to click on activate policy. Policy activation takes around 10 to 20 seconds. So we are going to pause and come. So policy activation has been done successfully. Here you see it is active. In case if you're facing any issue, in case you are seeing any error, so what you can go do, you can go to the docs.cyberark.com and go to secure cloud access. And that's where like you can search and you can try doing a troubleshooting. So we do provide a comprehensive information on some of the common error messages, what you may see here. Yeah. So this is what you can do. So now in our case, everything went through successfully. So this is all done. So here, one thing to take note. So currently we are just providing a daily access. So what you can do, you can leverage upon the CyberArk on-demand access as well. And for the on-demand access, we support integration with Slack. We support integration with your ServiceNow, and you can customize our integration, and then you can integrate with your Microsoft Teams or whatever ITSM solution or your chat ops solution your company is leveraging upon. So that can be done. So here, so we're gonna go to the user portal. So I'm gonna click on the user portal, and then we are gonna click on AWS IAM Identity Centered Style. So this is where we are gonna see how does the user experience is gonna look like. So here I'm gonna click on AWS IAM Identity Center tile. So you will be able to see users are being redirected to the secure cloud access page. And here as a user, I have the permissions to elevate my role for the production account, for the security audit permission sets, as well as for the test account for administrator access permission set. So what we are going to do, so we are going to click on the go directly to the cloud console. So once we click here, so you will realize by default, this user has 0 permissions. So this user cannot do anything at all. So this, in a way, even if attacker, they steal the session cookie or they steal the user credential, they may not be able to do much damage. So I'm gonna close this one, and then we are gonna click on this AWS IAM Identity Center tile, and then we are going to elevate the user permission for one of the accounts. So here, so we're gonna go back, and I'm gonna elevate my role for this production account for the security audit permission set. For this one, I'm gonna click on a connect button. So behind the scenes, what CyberArk Secure Cloud Access is going to do, it is going to add this particular user into the security audit permission set for that specific account only. And for a very short period of time, the time frame we have configured to be 1 hour. After that time frame, user will go back to the 0 standing permissions again. So it takes around like 30-40 seconds for CyberArk Secure Cloud Access to do the magic and to add the user to the specific permission set. So here, so we will be able to see user has been added to the production set for the security audit permission set. Again, AWS has changed their UI bit. So whatever you see in the guide, it is slightly different from what you see actually on the AWS console. So I'm going to click on the management console. And here you can see as a user, I got an access. So if you look at the federated user, you will be able to see the security audit. And so this is the user what we are using to access your AWS console. So this is how the user experience is going to look like again. Yeah, so you will be accessing the CyberArk AWS or Azure or GCP using your own web browser. So that's what we have to do. So now we can go and see how does the experience is going to look like from auditor and what all things are going to be made available from auditor standpoint. So we're going to click on the audit. So here we are going to select, I'm going to refresh my browser. So here, so you can see, so these are some of the actions we performed on the SC and the CM. So one of the action I'm interested in, so is from an end user standpoint. So let's click on this. Let's observe. So this was the user logged into the AWS console. the user, the services, secure cloud access. So we leverage upon the connect button. And if I click on the service data, so here you can see the AWS IAM Identity Center service, what I'm using. And if I click on the cloud details, so here you can see the provider is AWS, and then you can see the account number and the security audit information. So we provide all this information from a auditor standpoint as well. So this is what we observed. And so one of the other things to take note, so within this CyberArk identity security platform, if you want to get a detailed audit information, so we have a module called Secure Web Session. It is a browser-based extension. So using the browser-based extension, we can help you to provide the extensive audit information as well in terms of what exactly actions users are doing within the browser itself. So that's pretty much what you guys have to do from lab to perspective. So thanks a lot everyone for watching this.